Hello student, I am Professor S. R. Kale from KK Walk College of Food Technology, Nasik. Today we are going to cover another topic of food tech from second semester and course title Food Microbiology, and the topic name is Shelf Life of Food. The shelf life of food. This topic covers influence of shelf life, factors affecting shelf life of a product, and calculation of shelf life. We will begin with shelf life. What is the shelf life of a food? The shelf life of a food is the period for which it remains safe and suitable for consumption. It means that our food should be consumed within a given period of time, and this given period of time it is mentioned on the package of food product that we used to call it as a best before, within, or expiry date. See, similarly the another definition of shelf life is given, that is, shelf life means either the period corresponding to the period preceding the use by, or the minimum durability date. It means you have to consume your food within the particular date or particular time of a period which is mentioned on the packet of food product. The shelf life of food product is depend on the type of commodity or the type of food product, that is a perishable food which contains higher amount of moisture and it gets spoiled easily. Hence the shelf life of perishable food is less and we have to consume this food earlier. Then semi perishable food. The semi perishable food having moderate shelf life. It means that you can use semi perishable food product for the somewhat more time as compared to perishable food product and non perishable food product. These non perishable food product contain less amount of moisture or very negligible amount of moisture, and hence due to the content of less moisture content, this product having higher shelf life, and you can use this product up to 6 months or depend upon the type of food product. But this non perishable food having higher shelf life as compared to perishable food and semi perishable food. Second aspect is who influence shelf life. The shelf life of particular food product is influenced by grower or producer, and in another hand by other supplier. From this grower, producer and other supplier, the shelf life of food is produced by manufacturer, from manufacturer to distributor, from distributor to retailer, and from retailer to consumer. This grower and producer are act as a primary source for the influencing of shelf life, and these other supplier are those who receive the raw material or raw food product from the grower or producer. Both of these supply their food to manufacturer. This manufacturer uses food for the processing purpose, and this manufacturer after processing supply their food to a distributor. From distributor the food is received by retailer, and after retailer the food product is consumed by the consumer or it get received by the consumer. Then third aspect is factors affecting shelf life of a food product. The different factors which affect the shelf life of a product are microbial growth, non-microbial spoilage, and others. Microbial growth. The shelf life of a food product is ended by the activity of different microbes. As we are familiar that the different microorganisms are algae, bacteria, fungus, protozoa, and viruses. These different microorganisms will enter into your food product at the different conditions like receiving of food or receiving of raw material, then handling during processing, filling of can, packaging, storage, and transportation. These different stages are the major platform which give rise to microbial activity. Second one is non-microbial spoilage. This non-microbial spoilage it include moisture content, chemical changes, light, temperature, and physical damage. We will see one by one. Moisture content. Simply, the moisture content is defined as the presence of water in the food, or the moisture content of a food product is measured in terms of water activity. What is water activity? The water activity is defined as the ratio of water vapor pressure of the food substrate to the vapor pressure of pure water at the similar temperature. It means higher will be the water activity, then greater will be the growth of microbes, and hence food will spoil more rapidly. And lower will be the water activity, less will be the growth of microorganism, and higher will be the shelf life of a food product. Hence, to protect the shelf life of particular food product, we have to maintain the level of moisture content, or we have to store our food from the place where there is a less presence of moisture or where there is a no presence of moisture. Second one is chemical changes. The different chemical changes results in off flavor of food, the color change of food, browning reaction, and the loss of nutrients in the food. Third one is light. Due to the presence of light, it causes rancidity, vitamin losses, and fading of natural colors. Hence, it is given on food package that protect food from direct sunlight. Temperature. The spoilage of food is depend upon the temperature and type of food product in which microorganisms are survived or died, like psychrophilic microorganism, mesophilic microorganism, and thermophilic microorganism. These psychrophilic microorganisms are used to grow at lower temperature, and it is depend upon the type of food product like ice cream. Then these mesophilic microorganisms are used to grow at moderate temperature, and these thermophilic microorganisms are used to grow at higher temperature like canning or filling of canning. Next one is physical damage. The physical damage it include packaging default, transportation, improper handling, pinholes in can, tears in plastic bags, etc. Others. These others include spoilage of our food product by the involvement of insect and rodent such as rat, ant, and other insect. Then product tampering and flavor and odor from storing food nearer other strongly smelling product. This third one, that is flavor and odor from storing food near to strongly smelling product, it usually happen in case of us whenever we used to put our food product nearer to any smelling product such as our perfume, our soap, then ultimately the smell of that particular product is get attached with our food product, and when we used to or whenever we having that particular food product, we smell the smell of a soap or deo or whatever the kind of a smelling product toward which we kept our food. The last part of our this topic is calculation of shelf life. The shelf life of a food product can be calculated by two different methods. First one is direct method and second one is indirect method. Direct method. The steps involved in calculating shelf life by the direct method are two methods. First one is before product in the market and second one is after product in the market. This before product in the market, it includes identify the cause of spoilage, then selection of test procedure, third one is plan the shelf life study, fourth one is determine the shelf life. And the second part, that is after product in the market, it include continue to monitor shelf life. Again we will see one by one. We will begin with before product in the market. It includes first one, identify the cause of spoilage. The raw material, product formulation, water activity, oxygen availability, and pH are the different causes of food spoilage. We have to identify that why our food is get spoiled and by what kind of a factor is responsible for the spoilage of our food product. On the basis of this, we are able to identify the cause of spoilage. Second, selection of test procedure. The selection of test procedure is one of the most important factors, which include sensory evaluation, microbial analysis, chemical test, and physical test. Sensory evaluation. The sensory evaluation is also known as organoleptic test. The sensory evaluation is done by 10 trained panel members on the basis of particular food product, color, texture, flavor, odor, and taste. We all are familiar with this kind of evaluation, that is sensory evaluation. We are always going to use sensory evaluation at our home, even in our development of new food product. And we used to rate the sensory evaluation from the scale of extremely like to the scale of extremely dislike, which involve the different rating from 0.1 to 0.9, and on the basis of this scale and by using this trained panel member, we are able to complete our sensory evaluation of food product. Second one is microbial analysis. The product is accessed for microbial analysis to monitor the quality of product. The shelf life of food product will end when microbial study is observed. Also, the microbial safety of product will access by performing other tests. Then chemical test. The chemical testing of a product can be done for its nutrient content, moisture content, fat, rancidity, and other volatile and non-volatile components. The chemical testing of food product involve whatever the chemical or nutritional fact which are related to food product. The last one is physical test. The physical testing of a product can be done for its color, texture, packaging and transportation requirement. Second, plan the shelf life study. Following points are considered while preparing the shelf life study plan. It involves basically 5 different points. First one is what type of a test to be carried out. What time period is required to complete the study. Third one is how many samples to be tested at a time. Fourth one is how many samples we needed for the whole study period. And last one is when will the study be run. This is one of the most interesting part, that is the planning of shelf life study. Once we are confirmed with our food product, then we have to decide what kind of a test we are going to carry out. Then at the second level we have to select, or we have to check what kind of a, or what are the required time period to complete the study. After that, it is completely depend on us number of sample to be tested at a time, means whether we are able or interested to test 1 sample at a time or 3 sample at a time. Then number of sample we required to complete our study. And the last one is when we are going to implement our study. Third one is run the shelf life. Here the sample is stored at different temperature and humidity for different interval of time, and the result is recorded. Determination the shelf life. Using all the previous testing method, note down the result and check whether it meets the quality and acceptability of a given product or not. If it meets the quality and acceptability, then declare and record it. But if it does not meet the quality and acceptability, then change the ingredient, formulation or testing method until its final result come out. Here, in case of determining the shelf life study, we have to select the standard parameter which are required or which are specifically meet the quality and acceptability of food product. And until this stage, whatever the tests which are carried out by us, we have to check them with the standard. If they satisfy or if they meet the given standard, it means that our food product is acceptable, and at this level you have to declare and record your result. But if you found that your result are completely different from the standard, then you have to carry out the particular test unless and until we will achieve our standard result. Fifth one is to monitor shelf life. The continuous monitoring of shelf life of a product, it should be done on regular basis, because various changes in the food can be happen during processing, storage, transportation or until product reaches to the customer. The second part is indirect method. It involves predictive modeling and accelerated shelf life study. Predictive modeling. What is predictive modeling? The use of mathematical equations which uses information from a database to predict bacterial growth under definite condition. Here in predictive modeling, we are using mathematical equation for determining the bacterial growth under defined condition. But this predictive modeling are given specific to the particular type of microorganism. And accelerated shelf life study. The trial period is shortened by deliberately increasing the rate of deterioration. This is usually done by increasing the storage temperature. The results are then used to estimate the shelf life under normal storage condition. And here we are completed with our topic, that is shelf life of a food. Thank you everyone.